Going live. Are we live yet?
Yeah.
Are we live? All right, we're live. All right. Let me just share this real quick in our group. Hey, welcome everyone to the Sunday live chat.
Welcome.
Yeah, how you guys doing? It's a pretty hot day here in Houston. It's been a pretty busy day for us here at Anime Matsuri. We had our monthly staff meeting today. All the behind the scenes group members, the managers, department heads. We met today. We went over a bunch of stuff, and we do this like once a month. Usually falls on Sundays, and today was the first one for 2022. But welcome, guys. As you can imagine, well, I'm John Lee, and Denise is not here. Well, you could be Denise, or
I could
not.
be Denise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not as pretty as Denise.
No.
This is Sebastian. Now, Sebastian is the head of the Welcome Squad,
Yes, sir.
or line control. Okay, and there's a very good reason he's here tonight. I'm sure you've seen him. I mean, at the convention. But if you haven't, here he is, and you can check him out. Meet him, and we're just gonna go over a few things tonight. Just talking about his department and what to expect from the Welcome Squad or line control moving into 2020. And the reason I say this is because we are finalizing all our guests. We're finalizing the events and the convention itself for next year. The convention is getting bigger. It keeps getting bigger every year. And as the convention grows, I'm sure if you were at the event this year, you would have noticed the lines are getting way, way, way longer. They're getting too long. The amount of time that it takes to get a bunch of people from, that are in a line into an event keeps getting longer and longer and longer. If you guys saw the Club AM line, that was insane. And we're coming up with solutions for these problems because the convention is going to keep getting bigger and bigger. Next year, for sure, it will be bigger than it is this year. So, of course, one of the main topics that we discuss all the time is what are we going to do, or how should we handle line control? On the first floor, as you guys know, in the pre-function area, that's where the registration is. So you have lines for registration, and then you have lines to get into the exhibit hall. And then there's lines for everything else on the third floor. Now, this year, we kept the departments separate. So you were in charge of the first floor.
Yes.
And there was another dude, his name is Karthik. He was in charge of the third floor. So these were two independent groups, right? And they were just separate from each other, right? There was one for the first floor and one for the third floor. But moving into 2022, it's going to be all in one. So you're going to handle both the first floor and the third floor. So you're going to have your hands full.
Oh, nice.
With just line control. And how many people did you have on your crew this year?
Roughly 30 people. 30, 32.
32 people. Okay. So the lines, oh, it's lagging. Why is it lagging? Wait, is it lagging? Is it back? Are we back? Hold on. I am so sorry. Let's see why it's lagging. Hold on, I gotta switch passwords. Is the stream back? Are we back? Are we back? Are we back?
Still back, man.
Hmm?
Still
really that bad.
Looks good on my end. Can you refresh it real quick? Yeah, should be fine now. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome.
Cool.
Awesome. Okay. So, what were you talking about? The lines.
The lines.
Okay, the lines. So on the first floor, you had you had your hands full because you had to deal with the lines from registration and then the lines for the exhibit hall, correct?
Correct.
Okay. On the third floor, they dealt with all the lines for the for the event, the bigger events like the panels,
the concert,
cosplay contest,
H-Fest.
yeah, and all of that. Oh, you also had to deal with the lines for Club AM and
Club AM, Sumo. What else? One of the concerts. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's about it. The concert, Sumo, and the rave.
yeah, Sumo was on Thursday, correct?
Correct. Thursday. Yep.
Correct. How was that line?
It was great. I mean, it would start off slow, but I mean, as the day progressed by, it just a swarm of more people just started coming in.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was managed pretty well actually, and everybody came in fast. There really was no lag spikes, no nothing going on as far as I'm aware of. I was thinking about setting up a separate line, but I didn't get the chance to it because by the time I was thinking that that swarm of people already came in. But I mean, other than that, like I said, that swarm, it still went in perfectly.
Yeah.
So there was no lag spike, no nothing that happened.
So the reason we've been discussing this, and we're discussing it right here on stream, and you guys can throw in your 2 cents, and you can join us when it comes to this discussion. Today, during our meeting, this was a big topic, and we went over a bunch of changes which we need to implement to how we see our lines at the event. Simply because the lines are getting too long, and it takes way too much time to get everybody in the line into the actual hall. Now, depending on the event, for example, like Club AM, that line went on forever. And, an hour and a half later, people are still coming in, right? Same thing with like the bigger events like Hentai Fest. Speaking of that, right? Some of the events like Hentai Fest, next year, like the Nerdlesque, we have an extra step of checking, which is, well, I mean, you have to check their IDs, right?
Correct.
So besides checking their badges, now we have to check IDs, right? Which that takes time, right? A few years ago, the event was not as big as it is now. So the way we handled lines back then was different. And I guess everything went much smoother and much faster, just because there weren't as many people. But this year we had a record number of people, even more people than we were anticipating at the event, and this caused problems. And I mean, you can see just moving on that this will be an even bigger problem next year. So first of all, one thing that we decided on doing is we're going to get rid of single file lines. We're just going to get rid of that altogether, right? Because there's way too many people for that, right? I mean, all of the big events will not have any single file lines. Number 2 is all the checking of either IDs and badges, all of that will be done way before. So the area in front of the doors, essentially, that just, for lack of a better word, that entire area in front of any door will be for everyone that has been pre-checked already. That's what we decided, right?
Correct. That's what we did.
Yeah. So in other words, when the door is open to an event, let's say the door is open to Club AM or to Hentai Fest or just anything, right? there will be no bad checks at the door because everyone or most of the people, or the first big group of people, have already been pre-checked. And as those people, they're all just going to come in same time, so which means they'll get people in faster. The cosplay contest is another good example because it took forever. When you have 5,000-6,000 people, that just took forever. And even an hour after the time of the event, people are still coming in, right? So no single file lines, and we're gonna do pre-checks. What else did we talk about that we're gonna do to try to avoid this like long waiting time in lines?
Yeah. We talked about.
So what do you? Okay. So how do you handle? What's a good? So Club AM. Club AM is an 18 plus event, right?
Right.
And also has a lot of people. Mm-hmm. Now the line went all the way from Exhibit Hall B
all the way to E.
All the way to E, right?
Yes.
And even snaked around and
Yes.
and came back, right?
Yeah.
So what happens? I mean, that line was so long. So do you have people at different intervals managing that line? Like, how do people know like where the end of the line is? How do people know what I mean?
I have a separate body right there that would manage those lines. So 9 times out of 10, everybody was seeing him, guide the line in, because I had to. There's no possible way somebody can just individually just single file this line. No, I had to send somebody out there. He had to go out there and manage the end of that line, and then slowly but surely, we're trying to, as this is happening, get a signage up and going so he can carry that sign. That way, everybody knows he's the end of the line guy. So right there, we started guiding it from there. We had some other volunteers come around and help out with that too, because eventually that line is just eventually going to wide open, and then the whole line is just going to spread apart.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so as that line is standing there, I had somebody right there just closing in the line so it can maintain its course.
So for example, if I'm, let's say, I want to attend Club AM and I show up, right? Maybe about half an hour to the time the door is open. The line's already formed and it's a really long line, right? How would I know exactly who's or which way to go for the end of the line? Because do I just follow the way the people are? And just ask people, or how do you plan to do that?
So,
what I'm saying is we need to clearly mark whoever's managing the end of the line, correct?
Correct. So the idea for that is to have a checkpoint sign right there, and that sign will, whatever the case may be, this line is going this way. This is not the end of the line. This is the checkpoint. Keep going. And I was thinking of having an arrow that would point to wherever it is, XYZ, wherever it is going. And from there, it's either I have a big sign right there, or I have somebody right here holding the sign. And that way, because I know everybody's going to have questions just from reading the sign alone, I want to have somebody right there that he knows and he's keeping track of the line. So say attendee is right here, right? John is right here next to the sign. Hey John, where's the end of the line? I see this is the checkpoint, but I don't see the end of the line. Oh, well, it's going to be right across from over here, XYZ.
Well, can we make that person have a big yellow hat or a big flag on their back or something?
Yes, definitely.
Where you can see them from, where you can just point and say, that guy over there with the big flag.
Exactly, yeah.
One of those backpacks with the flags on it or something like that?
Backpacks, flags, bright pink shirt, whatever the case may be, for somebody to see him and that he's noticeable around the entire crowd.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. That makes sense. And whatever we do, can we make sure that all IDs are pre-checked before that line forms, in the line, so not at the door?
Yes, definitely.
So Kitsune Mike is asking, how will you separate Super Pass from regular pass holders if there will be no single file lines? Will there be multiple entry points to ease the congestion? So for SuperPass, right? Now SuperPass is a lot easier to manage because it's just
That
no way.
handful.
Yeah, just to, I mean, compared to everyone else. So the SuperPass, instead of having a line, it's just going to be a SuperPass area.
Right.
So you get checked, your badge, everything, your ID or whatnot.
Automatically.
Yeah, you get checked before you go into that area. So in that area, you just have a bunch of people as opposed to a line. So when the doors open, SuperPass goes in first, and everyone can just go in at the same time, or as opposed to having everyone going one after the other. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Kitsune Mike, does that answer your question?
I hope it does. I mean, it's really
Yeah, basically what we're trying to do is we're trying to minimize the time it'll take for a group of people waiting in line or outside to go into the hall, if that makes sense.
And by all means, like I said, my team is going to be out there, and they're going to be telling you like this long line, it's not for you. Super pass holders, it's on the other side. My team, or you'll be seeing me over there. Guaranteed, you'll see me because I manage the super pass line too. We'll be right there, just managing that little line, and you'll notice it too because I mean, there's only like a handful of people who have the super pass compared to your regular 4-day pass holders. So yeah, I mean, it's very noticeable. All you need is just the proper guidance, which we're happily there for you. So yeah.
Okay, awesome. So I mean, that is one thing we talked about today, and I'm sure you guys can, if you want to chip in, we think that's the way to go. So instead of having a line, so for example, for super pass holders, instead of having an actual line, right, we'll just have an area, and you get checked, your badge or your ID or whatever, and or
Yeah.
before you get into that area. And this is before the doors open. So by the time the doors open, we don't need to check anything anymore.
No.
Right? Okay. And we want to use the same concept for everyone else as well. And this should be the same thing for every event. Because the problem, if you have a really long line and it's a single file line, the problem is it takes forever for everyone in a single file line to get into the hall wherever the event is happening. And sometimes, like Club AM, it's okay because the event can start and people are just still kind of like coming in after the event has started, and even an hour after the event has started, people are still kind of coming in. There's music and you dance. But other events, like let's say the cosplay contest, that wouldn't work because we need to get everybody in there before it starts, or at least as many people as possible. Because I mean,
That's a show.
Yeah, it's a show, so you want to be there
concert.
from the beginning. You don't want to miss half the show because the line was way too long.
Yep.
If that makes sense. Yeah. But like I said, it's something that we're actively talking about. Line control and welcome squad. This is an important thing, and as there are more people at the convention, as the convention grows, this is going to be more of an issue. And the last thing we want is you guys spending more time waiting in lines than enjoying the convention, right? And that's why whenever, so for, case in point, even when there isn't line control, so for example, outside at the food trucks, when we get to the point where 15 food trucks is not enough because the lines are way, way, way too long, if you have to wait 45 minutes to grab a burger from a food truck, even though we have 15 food trucks, then probably it's time to add more food trucks to kind of like, ease the
numbers.
Yeah, ease the numbers and the lines. Because if not, then it just wouldn't work. We're trying everything we can not to turn our convention into line con. Yeah, if that makes any sense. So, welcome squad. Okay, so what does welcome squad do? Are we good? Are we back? I am so sorry. I don't know what the heck is going on with this thing. Is he back?
You were for a second and then dropped again. Okay, you're back.
Are we back? Are we back? Are we back? Are we back? Should be fine, right? All right, we're good to go.
Cool.
Okay, all right, awesome. Okay, so guys, I'm sorry. I am not sure what is up with our internet. It's been acting weird lately. Yeah, I'm so sorry. I don't know why it keeps... Everything seems fine. Keeps dropping for some reason. Okay, hopefully it wouldn't drop anymore. Okay, so you were telling us about Welcome Squad.
Yes, welcome squad. So it pretty much is a customer service type of base, and what it is yes, we are welcoming everybody into our con because, of course, we want to bring that Japanese experience to Houston, and by all means, Japan makes you feel welcome near the country, so why not us Houstonians make you feel welcome to Houston?
Okay.
In other words, though, there are going to be questions about the con. 90% of you always have questions about the con. And my team is there, the Welcome Squad is there to answer any questions you guys may have, of course, with a smile, XYZ. But they're also there to guide you and just, all in all, make you feel at home to Houston, even if you're just visiting.
So it's more like a mobile info desk.
Yeah, pretty much a mobile info desk.
Okay. Okay. All right. That makes sense. And this is especially important in the first floor, especially in the pre-function area, because people come into the convention center, right? Even before you get to registration, you might have questions. Where do I pick up my badge from, or after they pick up their badges, where's the artist alley? Where's the where's the exhibit hall?
Yeah.
Where's
XYZ.
Yeah, where's the cosplay contest? Whatnot. The convention center is pretty large, so I guess this is pretty important.
Very important.
Yeah. I mean, we have an info desk that's in front of Hall C,
right?
And it says info desk on there.
Big circular pillar.
Yeah.
But
you can go there, but just sometimes it just gets pretty crowded and
at your convenience. I mean, on your way to a specific panel, my team will be right there to answer any questions you have about it. It's just more convenient towards us and towards you guys.
Yeah. So you guys know we had, even back last year, we were planning to do multiple concerts, right? K-pop on Thursday, J-pop on Saturday, but for some reason, because of the pandemic and because of everything else, we couldn't host those concerts. So we tried to do it on this year in 2021, but there was travel restrictions. And for a second, we thought maybe we're going to be able to do it. Maybe things will change. Maybe Japan will open up. Maybe, but it didn't happen. So we couldn't do it this year, even though we had the convention. So now everything is moved over to next year. So next year on Thursday, we're planning to do a K-pop concert. On Saturday, same thing, J-pop, and on Friday, J-rock. So this is 3 concerts back to back every day, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Now, for sure, the big thing again comes back to, besides the logistics of putting on the concert, we're just talking about just lines and how we get people into the concert hall and outside. And remember, on Saturday, this is extremely important, because on Saturday, the concert starts at about 9 p.m., right? Ends at about 10:30. So then we have 30 minutes to get everybody out of the hall so that we can switch the hall over to get it ready for Club AM. And then we have to get everybody back in. So that's a lot of people going out and coming back in, right? But we have an hour, maybe a little over an hour. At the most, maybe an hour and a half to to accomplish all this. Now, switching the hall over from the concert to Club AM, we need about 30 minutes for that. 40 at the most. So
Definitely.
you can see the challenge here. And even this year, there was a lot of people. Just imagine next year, and there's even more people, without having to push back Club AM, because we want to start at midnight, right? And we don't want to be late. So we got to come up with all kinds of creative ways to get people out and people back in, into the hall. Yeah, that's these are the things that, you know, we talk about. Obviously, looking at this year, things were delayed, but that's for other reasons other than just the lines or anything like that. We had delays, and we don't take any of that lightly. Right? We want to fix all these problems and make sure that next year we don't have, you know, the same problems that we had this
100%.
year. We try to fix as many of these problems as possible. And yeah, especially when we expect even more people next year. Yeah, if you guys have any questions, just just let us know. What do you remember on the third floor? What was the biggest line problem on the third floor? Do you know? I mean, I thought it was Hentai Fest. That line was so long.
Hentai Fest, yes, but also the cosplay contest too.
Yeah, that was
That was
unfortunately, yeah. I didn't see that line because I was inside the cosplay contest trying to get everyone's files ready. Wow, that was even there were more people there than the Hentai Fest. Yeah,
it was going okay, but then, I mean, I wasn't up there, so I couldn't tell you precisely what happened. I know it was okay when I saw it there, and then probably like an hour later, I go back up there to check, and it was just swarms of people. So that line, I didn't see a line. I just saw just a swarm. So I'm like, well.
And you know, the thing with B3 is that the GRB was short-staffed. They didn't have enough people working, so they couldn't set up the third. Okay, we're back. Sorry about that, guys. All right. Glenn says the Hentai Fest was on the third floor. Going to the opposite side on the first floor for a wristband was something that could have been a message on the app. Yes, that is correct. As a matter of fact, we what we wanted to do was we wanted to set up a station on the third floor for the wristbands. And for people that just wanted to just pay and get wristbands and go in. But registration did not have enough. They didn't have enough staff, and they were swamped throughout the entire weekend. You know, again, I think that we understand a lot of the problems. We wrote a lot of them down, and we have solutions for almost all of them. And yeah, we understand. And Glenn, this goes for any event on the third floor that required a wristband, because yeah, it doesn't make any sense, or it makes less sense to have to go all the way to the first floor. Well, you get to the third floor, right, and then they tell you, oh, you need a wristband, so then you got to go to the first floor, then purchase wristband, and that takes time because the GRB is pretty big, and there was already a long line of people trying to get the wristbands on the first floor, right? Then you get the wristbands, then you come back up. Right, and by the time you get there, I mean the line is still super long. So by the time you end up even getting inside of the hall, right, maybe the Hentai Fest has already started or whatnot. That's the that's a problem that needs that we need to fix. Also, the other thing that we didn't anticipate was how many people wanted to buy the Hentai Fest wristband at the last minute. You know, so if it was earlier during the day, because the Hentai Fest tickets were, I mean, they went on sale pre-con, right? I can't remember. It was like 2 weeks,
2-3 weeks before.
yeah,
con.
2 3 weeks before the con.
2-3 weeks.
And yeah, you know, a bunch of people bought their their tickets. But we also had a whole bunch of people trying to buy the tickets right before. When I say right before, I mean right before the
literally
event.
right before.
Literally right before the event. So registration couldn't even leave. They had to stay there.
Had at least like had at least like 15 people asking me, "Can we still go get it?" I had some. Well, I can't judge that. Your only risk is you go down there and figure it out yourself, because I don't even know. I've told that they were closed at a certain time period. That certain time period already closed off, so I don't know.
Yeah, what we should do is I think for everyone that purchased the Hentai Fest tickets prior, when they go pick up their badges, they should just get their wristbands as well,
Correct.
right? So that, I mean, that would solve that problem.
I mean, also that too, but there should, I believe there should be signage the day of.
Oh my god. Okay. Are we good? I hate Comcasts. Okay, let's see. Zombie Stomper 115 says, I liked how y'all did the tickets when the Evangelion exhibit was here. It was very streamlined. That is correct. For the Evangelion exhibition, we used the RFID badges, the cards. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
That was very cool.
Yeah.
I wasn't even around by that time, but I've seen how the ticket looked. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah, that is the best way to do it. But to pull that off, we would need the RFID gates. We have 2 gates, and that's all. So we would need a whole bunch of gates everywhere. When we did the Evangelion exhibition, that was like a test to see how the RFID badges would work, and it worked pretty well. But that was in 2018, and in 2019. Well, actually, in 2020, well, we didn't have a 2020. In 2021, we couldn't ship anything else because this stuff comes from the manufacturer, and shipping was an issue. And they're also pretty pricey, but they make everything so streamlined. So yes, I agree. Yeah, you're right. If there's a way, because that would just completely cut down all of the volunteers and manpower we would need checking badges and whatnot. If you just had an RFID badge and you just touch a panel and the gate opens and you can go right through. But again, if it's a large number of people, then you would need multiple gates. It's like in a train station, right? On the subway.
Yeah.
We would need a whole bunch just per hall. And for places like Hall A, where the concert or Club AM is, that would need a ton. Because if not, we're going to bottleneck. So we get back to the same problem that we're having right now.
Mm-hmm. It's a very peculiar situation to be in.
Yeah. Well, we have a bunch of very creative solutions to this problem. So and we're still 10.5 months out, and we're gonna keep working on this thing between now and the convention because it's an issue, and if we don't solve it, it's just gonna get worse. So, and as we get closer to the con, we'll keep updating you on what we're gonna do and how we're going to do it. One good thing is, to note is next year we have the entire convention center back, so there's not going to be any Dr. Seuss exhibition in Hall A. That is where our concerts are going, right? So you guys are going to have to be you're back to the way it was in 2019. So the concerts are back in A.
Yeah, correct.
And the access to the artist alley, which is A3, is much easier because now the escalators from A go all the way up to A3. Now we couldn't do that this year because of Dr. Seuss, so we couldn't even use the pre-function area of A.
Nothing.
Right? Yeah, we couldn't do that. That was reserved for them. So it was a little confusing trying to get to A3, right? But this problem would not exist next year.
Yeah, no.
Marisol says dance. She's saying, "Oh, who's she talking to? To you?
Me.
Yeah, she wants you to dance.
Yeah, man.
Entertain people.
Entertain.
Oh, there you go. I mean, so what do you think of Sebastian? Is he pretty entertaining? This is the guy that welcomes you when you come into the convention center. I mean, you think he's right for the job? Is he entertaining enough? I mean, cast your votes between, I don't know, 1 and 10. 1 is like, oh, terrible. And 10 is like, oh, super entertaining, right? What would you think? What would you think he is? What's his score? Tell me what his score is so we can make fun of him at the next team meeting. You mentioned last week that you were making some additions to the Superpass Lounge. Can you share what those might be? Yes, but not tonight. Pretty interesting. What? Oh. What do we got here? Edgar is asking, is Sebastian single?
Oh my god. That is an answer specifically, sir. I'm not answering that.
Okay, I guess there's your answer, Edgar. Oh, well, Zombie Stomper 115 says, I'd give him a 10.
Yeah, my
I got you, bro. And Marisol says 100%. Well then, okay. All right. Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, Kitsune Mike. Yeah, you got. There's gonna be a separate stream just for Superpass, and where we're gonna go over exactly what you're asking. Superpass Lounge is there's some changes, and not just the lounge. Just there's a bunch of upgrades to the entire experience. But I think it's better we just talk about that in the Superpass meeting. What is this? Edgar says 1 to 10. Sebastian is a 12. 12. Okay, now I know y'all just messing around. I don't know if we, add a private beer wine selling kiosk so we don't have to walk very far.
Ooh.
Yeah, we can do that.
Mm-hmm.
So you want like a cash bar inside of the lounge, so you can just purchase alcohol inside of the lounge and that's just reserved for just Superpass lounge
I can see that.
members. Yeah, we can do that. You know what? I think let me just write this down. Sorry, I'm just gonna make a note of this.
You just started a new era.
All right, got it. All right, yeah, that is easily done. If there's anything else that you want to suggest or you want to recommend for the Superpass Lounge, especially if you're a Superpass holder, just let us know, and we'll do our best to. At Club AM too, Glenn, what do you mean at Club AM? You mean at Club AM you want to have a separate area for Superpass, or are you talking about a separate cash bar for Superpass holders? What are we talking about here?
Mm-hmm.
Or are you talking about a separate area with a cash bar in said area?
Yeah.
Just if you can elaborate, I can answer better. Yeah, Club AM needs more than 2, at least 4 separate bar. Okay. So yes, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. Club AM, when we signed a contract, on the contract, it had 10 cash bars, not 2 or 4, 10. But Levy Restaurants, that takes care of all the food and beverage in the GRB, was short-staffed. And that's an understatement. So we could only have two bars. I mean, we tried, to get more. They just didn't have enough people, enough, I guess, bartenders working. This is a problem all across the board. Everyone was short-staffed, and this was it was a problem.
You can only do so much with the pandemic when it just hit.
Yeah, and if we want to do a separate cash bar for just Superpass holders, that would mean, I'm trying to think of how that would work logistics wise. So how it means we need to make because the bartender doesn't check badges,
Right.
so he doesn't know, or he wouldn't know who's a Superpass member, who's not. So that means we would need to kind of like rope off an area with a bar and check people that they're actual Superpass holders before they go into that to the bar.
Right.
Because the bartender is just going to serve whoever comes up to him.
Maybe like a certain wristband for Superpass.
No. But the thing is, no. What he's
yeah.
saying, no. It's not that. We're talking about a cash bar that only serves Superpass. So which means
okay.
what he's saying is that no one else could have access to it. So the lines for that one particular cash bar wouldn't be that long. You see, so to do that, we have to regulate who gets access to that cash bar.
Correct. Yeah.
I guess it could be done, but
It can. It's just.
Let me make a note of that too. Can't promise that, but you know what? We'll see what we can do.
Yep.
Yeah, I apologize. The two bars, the two cash bars at Club AM did not cut it. That was way too long. Those lines were way too long.
Yeah. I felt bad for them.
I actually believe 10 cash bars maybe. That might make things easier. Maybe. Hopefully next year the GRB doesn't have the same issues with manpower as it did, as it did this year, because it was crazy.
I mean, it should be better now.
Yeah.
Or by then, it should be better by then.
Okay. Any other questions? Any other requests? It doesn't have to be just from Superpass, from anyone else. Just let us know. We're going to do our best to accommodate this as much as possible. I appreciate you guys sticking with us. This was mostly a discussion about the lines, the welcome squad here with Sebastian, who's the head of that department. Kitsune Mike says, someone from the welcome squad can check for the Superpass lounge cash bar. We have till July 2022 to sort this out. Yes, you're absolutely right. Which is why we're talking about it right now. We're having meetings about all these things now. We have to
brainstorm.
We have to brainstorm and make sure logistics wise we was set, but at the same time everyone involved. So for example, the GRB, Levy Restaurants, they know that this is what we need for next year, so they too can be prepared.
Yep. There's a lot of consideration put into it.
Jason Wen, any English or Japanese VAs you can bring for 2022? Absolutely. There was a bunch from Japan that was supposed to be here last year and this year that could make it. So hopefully they, everyone as of now is scheduled to come in 2022. We just haven't announced them yet. But I think we'll wait a little longer just for things to get a little better. And I mean, not over here. I mean in Japan, so travel restrictions can be a little better, and then we can we can start dropping announcements like crazy. All right, guys, that's it. If you have any questions, just let us know. If not, that will be a wrap. Uh-huh. Oh, somebody was asking, I think I saw this question somewhere earlier on, if we're going to have any other events similar to the ones that we did at Kinokuniya leading up to the events. The answer is yes. Yes. I don't know where and I don't know when, but yes, we will have events. And we'll let you guys know something exciting, like we had the Kinokuniya event. Oh, let's see. Nixzilla 2000. Alrighty, thanks for the info. Can't wait for the next year. Can't wait for next year. Yeah, stay safe and take care out there, everyone. Later. And Kitsune Mike is asking, anyone else going to the Tokyo Night Festival next week?
Ooh.
No idea. I'm not going. I don't know. Are you going?
I don't know yet either.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on next week.
There's a
We're
lot.
so busy. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Are you going? You're going, Caesar?
Yeah.
All right. Well, have fun. You're gonna let us know how it went, right? All right. Okay, guys. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, and we'll see you next Sunday. All right. Peace, guys.